For more analysis on this, I'm joined by Alexei Kovalyov, editor-in-chief of a Russian foreign news website. So, thanks very much for being with us here on RT. So, you were an observer during Sunday's vote. Now, there was a lot made of the fact that they were trying to make this vote as visible and transparent as possible. Do you think those efforts were worthwhile, or were they in vain, based upon what you saw?
At least on my station, where I was the monitor, they were definitely worthwhile, because I haven't observed a single violation, and neither did the other monitors. But it's a joint effort. You see, it's both the Electoral Commission and the observers did everything they could to make sure that the voting was as clean as possible.
Now, in that report that we were just seeing from Laura Smith, she was talking about the foreign criticism of Putin. Do you think some of that's going to die down now that there has been this groundswell of support for him in this election?
Well, I think one mistake that the foreign observers are making is that they are focusing too much on the Putin personally. And I think there's going to be more critical articles along the lines of the victory of Putin is the death of Russian democracy, or, as I've read somewhere just today, the final nail in the coffin. What I've seen actually differs very much from that viewpoint. What I've seen was the actual first steps, so to say, of Russian democracy. Because, you see, being a monitor is no small task. It's incredibly effort-consuming and requires a lot of legal training. So when thousands of people all of a sudden decide to invest a lot of their personal time, effort, money into reading all the, becoming experts in electoral law, training other people who want to become monitors at elections, volunteering to monitor, which is an incredibly difficult task. You know, I've spent 20 hours non-stop at the station yesterday, and you have to be alert at every single moment, and you have to spend a whole month preparing to do it, and to sacrifice a whole weekend. And when people are prepared to do that, to achieve a goal, this is democracy. This is what it means to me. So I saw Russian democracy actually being born and making its first steps.
Okay, but there are people who make criticisms of Putin, and among the ones that they make is his centralization of leadership and his apparent desperation in the eyes of some to maintain power. They compare him to Leonid Brezhnev in that regard. Do you think there is an apt comparison?
Well, it's just, it's a very formal comparison, because even if Putin stays in power for 18 years, it's a very different time. The people are very different, and I just saw that. I saw it yesterday. We have means of communication entirely different from what our parents had, and it really can't be the same thing, because we are better connected, more determined, and well-traveled, so we've seen how it works elsewhere. So it's really not about Putin, whether it's him or anybody else in power. It's people are finding a way to be, well, it sounds a bit too pompous, but masters of their own fate.
Okay. Fair enough. And among the things that Putin has done, now that he has clinched this victory, he's met with all of his electoral opponents except for Gennady Zyuganov. And do you think that he intends to work with them moving forward?
I really don't think that Gennady Zyuganov is a very experienced and weathered politician, but he's too static for the political environment that we're having now. He does have many young members of the Communist Party who are people of my age, who are well versed in IT, in modern technologies, and if he finds enough political will and common sense to step down at some point and to promote younger members, the Communist Party may have a future.
But Communist Party aside, how about moving forward in partnership with some of the other opponents, Prokhorov in particular? Seeing as how Prokhorov kind of represents the voice of the opposition that we saw out onto the streets in force leading up to this vote.
I voted for him, but I don't think he represents me. He's, at this point, he's just too amorphous. You can't really tell anything about him. We have to see how he's not even a real political figure at this point. His success, he owes his success to the fact that people voted not for Putin but against him for any other candidate, and that candidate just happened to be Prokhorov.
And so, in terms of this vote, do you think that just in terms of the opposition against Putin, briefly to wrap up, that do you think he will move forward mindful of the dissent that there was in the country leading up to the election?
Well, he has to, but not with the opponents that he himself assigned to run against him. That's to sum it up. I don't think that I don't consider the people he's running against to be his real opponents. They are, to me, just figureheads.
All right. Well, thanks very much for your insight, Alexei Kovalov from the ENOSME website. Thank you. Well, investors now